Yeah, I think it was really important for us to have Connor be someone who was slightly removed from the battle for a lot of different reasons. One, because we know that we wanted a story that had Templars on both sides of the aisle. You know what I mean? It's not a story of the British versus the Patriots. It's a story of assassins versus Templars. And so we wanted someone who could be one step removed from the conflict. Also, I think it's fun to have a character that you've never played before. This idea of someone who's a minority, someone who has a different perspective on things. Someone who can be really a fresh character. And we wanted someone who engaged a sort of a different fantasy, and I think a Native American assassin immediately brings. You can imagine weaponry, you can imagine gear, you can imagine even kind of maybe an approach. An attitude. So we wanted something that was really different and really fresh, and something that could compete with these powerful characters like Ezio. The frontier or the wilderness is a huge part of the new game, and it just seemed like this really lovely fit between having a Native American assassin who would be comfortable in nature, the fact that nature was such a big presence in the 18th century of America. It was a relatively new colony. And so it fit together so well, and of course obviously navigation being such a key part of the AC franchise. All these things together sort of pointed towards us saying this is the new challenge. This is the thing we need to tackle. It seemed like a way to sort of take back the AC legacy of being sort of cutting edge animation. When we started the project, we sort of had two goals. One was obviously to make the best game we possibly could, but also on another level to sort of refresh the brand, which doesn't necessarily mean changing everything radically, but it means taking a hard look at some things like combat, which we wanted to rebuild from the ground up, but also the controls a little bit. We joke that there's the assassin's claw, which is sort of holding the right trigger and a face button at the same time, and you find yourself playing the majority of the game like that. So we wanted to clarify that and make it really clear that in our game, the right trigger is always sprint, whether you're in fight or not in fight, it doesn't change, and that it's what we call safe free running. So if you jump from branch to branch, just holding RT, you just sort of point in the direction you want to go, but he won't leap off. He won't leap into space, he won't make a mistake. And if you hold A, he'll try to go up, and if he comes to the edge of something, he'll jump off. So you sort of have this option now to sort of say, hey, I'm vaulting things and trying to stay horizontal, or I'm trying to climb. A great thing about a new assassin is we can go back, and he doesn't have to have all the gear that Ezio had. It sort of doesn't make sense that if you're following on Ezio's life, he's abandoned all of his gear from the previous game, so you're sort of obliged to follow this arms race pattern. With Connor, we sort of said, no, we want to go back to roots and really focus on the combat and the assassination, and give him some custom tools such as the bow or the tomahawk. But it gave us a chance to sort of refresh the fight at a low level. So we worked on player strategy. We worked on sort of the face buttons and how they work in terms of both function and form. And we really think we're much stronger in the fight department than we have been before. About 80% of the speaking characters in the game are real people now, which is kind of exciting and a little creepy at the same time when you think about it, especially this close in terms of time. It's somebody's great-great-great-grandfather almost, about that period. And we wanted a mix of people you knew, your George Washingtons, your Ben Franklin, although he spends most of the war in France, so he was never going to be as present. And then other people that you might not know, but you can look up. So we really like the idea that you play it with a book open or Wikipedia open or something, and you can meet these other people and sort of challenge us on our history, because we started the project by laying everyone out on a timeline and saying these people were here at this time, or they died in this year, and they went to this event. So we've tried really hard to be as accurate as possible. The way we see Assassin's Creed is kind of half the fantasy of being an assassin and half the fantasy of being a tourist in time. So there are a lot of activities that are true to the period that don't really fit the job of an assassin, but we still wanted you to touch on them. So we have a lot of different mechanics for sort of emergent side quests and emergent sort of side activities that you can get involved in. One of the ones that I like the most is this notion of clubs. So there are all kinds of activities you can perform in the world, whether it's hunting animals or playing board games and all this sort of stuff. And if you do enough of them, we invisibly count your activities, and then someone will offer you, membership of a club. So someone might see you shooting a deer and will eventually say, "You're a pretty good shot. You should join, the Young Gentlemen of New England's hunting club." And so you turn up, you pay your entrance fee, and there'll be all kinds of inbuilt challenges involved in that, and different rewards. So we really want the living world, the sort of the toy aspect of it, to be as strong as the narrative aspect.